So, in a previous video, I talked about all of the different things that I do to help me with my French. And I mentioned that I was going to do some additional videos and expand on some of those things. So, this is one such video. And in this video, I'm talking about the iOS app Google Translate. It's a translation app, obviously, that you can use to help you look up words and that kind of thing. But it has a lot of cool features in it that at least I did not expect to be available in a basic translator. It really is really more powerful than just a simple translator. And I want to show you some of those additional features that are in it here. I wouldn't call this a full-on tutorial of it, but I just want to show you a few of my favorite things about this app. So I'm going to go ahead and click the Google Translate icon to open it up. And it opens up to this screen here. Yours might look a little different because at the bottom of the screen it keeps the most recent translations that you've done. So I have some listed here because, like I said, I use this all the time. At the top of the screen, you see what type of language is doing. So right now it's doing French to English. I'm going to click those arrows in the middle because we're going to start with English to French. You can change this though to whatever language you want that's available by clicking the word. It opens this window here and then you pick the language that you want. So I could switch this to Albanian or something if I wanted to. You do the same on the other side for that language. So it's really easy to switch the language from that screen. Below that is the box where you type or enter the text that you want to be translated. So I'm just going to tap in there and then it opens my keyboard. Right now, for some reason, I'm on the French keyboard, so I'm going to go ahead and switch to the English. And if you're wondering how to get the French keyboard or switch between the keyboards, I have a video about enabling an additional keyboard and switching in between it and getting rid of it on this site as well. So you can look at that if you're interested in that. But right now I want to just type something in English. So I'm just going to type my name is, and maybe I should go back because I don't know if you saw, but as I was starting to type, it gave suggestions based on words that it thinks I might be typing. And I believe what it does is lists words that I've typed recently. My friend was using Marche a little bit differently than I'm used to, so I had to look it up to make sure that's what it meant. What I thought it meant is what it meant. Um, and it was, but he was just using it a little bit differently for a special situation. So again, let me type my name is. This probably isn't a good example because I'm probably not going to like what it gives me as a translation because it's probably going to do mon nom a, which is not really what you say when you usually introduce yourself. So you type it in and you just click go, and then it'll open a window below saying what the translation is in the second language. And I was wrong. It put je m'appelle, which is what I wanted. I thought it was going to put mon nom est, which it seems to do for some stuff sometimes, but it didn't do it for this. So let's take a look at this a little bit. At both the English box and the French box, you see the sound icon. You can play either one of these. So I'm going to go and do that so you can see what it sounds like.
My name is.
And let's do the French.
Je m'appelle.
This is very useful. You can tell that this person that is saying it in French has a French accent, so you are hearing it the way it's supposed to be said. It's great if you're like in another country or talking to somebody in French and you have a new word and you're not sure how to pronounce it. Go ahead and listen to it and then say it just like that. Um, Also, in this bottom box, if you look at the bottom right corner, you see the two little boxes. If you click that, watch the bottom of the screen while you do. Translation copied. That is a copy button. You can also copy by holding your finger over the words, which I just did just then. Um, this is one of the coolest things I think about this app. If you are feeling self conscious or something about saying the word yourself, or maybe you're a person who doesn't know any French, but you're in a French speaking situation and you want to say something, but you don't want to sound like an idiot. If you click this icon to the left of the copy icon, it puts what you translated huge on your screen. And then in the top right corner of that screen is a screen to minimize again. So I just clicked that. But I think that's a really, really cool feature. So that's one of the things I wanted to make sure to show you, because if you want to say something but you don't actually want to say it, you can just press that. Or even with my phone, if I turn the phone sideways, it'll flip to that. So I don't even have to press the button. I'm not sure if that works on the iPad, but it it really is a good feature. Also, in that box, you see the star in the top right hand corner. That is to make this translation a favorite. So if you click that star and then you see at the bottom of the screen there's a star, let's click on that. Now that translation is in my start translations. So you can have a list of most used translations or something, put them as your favorites, or your cool phrase that you like to say all the time. You can star it. I'm going to unstar it because my name is like the easiest thing to say. People who don't speak French probably know that. So I'm going to go back to the home. So let's look a little bit at the top box, the English box. When you're ready to do another translation, you can use the X at the top right hand corner of the box to clear what you have there. I'm not going to do that right now. I guess it doesn't matter because what I'm going to show you next is going to kind of nullify that. So I will do it. So it clears out the box. So now I'm going to show you these other icons that are in that box. There's a camera, there's a microphone, and there's a squiggly line. I'm actually going to go from right to left and showing you these. So let's start with the squiggly line. It brings up a box that you can write into. So I'm going to write with my finger on the touchpad. And if you wait a few seconds, you don't even have to press enter. You wait a few seconds, it puts what you typed there, and you see a little blue arrow is now available in the lower right corner. If you click that, it translates the word for you, goes to the translation screen. So that's so you can use, I'm not sure what people call that keyboard, the squiggly keyboard. I know there's a name for it, but I can't remember what it is now. I never use it. So that is built into the app. So you don't have to like turn on your keyboard and switch to it. It's built into the app. So that's pretty cool. So moving on to the left, I'm going to X this out again, is the microphone. With the microphone, you can speak something in just like you would if you use the dictation on your keyboard, and then it'll type it in there. So let me get more creative than my name is. Press that. We are making a video.
Nous faisons une vidéo.
So you see it did something a little differently here. It went ahead and put what I said into this top box here and then put the translation into the bottom box. The idea here is that you can have a conversation this way. So you can hold your device in between you and another person, and you can take turns pressing on the buttons at the bottom, English or French, which basically switches up the way it translates, and have a conversation without knowing the language. That's the idea there. When you first use this, it actually puts instructions up that show you, how it's meant to be used. But since I've used it before, it's not showing those right now. So if we click on Francais, it'll wait for me to speak something in French and then translate in the opposite direction. So let me just try something simple. Je m'appelle Nicole.
My name is Nicholas.
So it thought I said Nicholas, but I said Nicole because it never translates my name correctly, but it seems to usually get Nicole, which is my sister's name. but it thought I said Nicholas this time. But you can see that basically it just did it in the opposite direction. So this is a really cool feature if you really want to talk to someone and you can't find another way. You can just set this between you two and you'll be able to talk to each other that way. Um, if you click on the arrow, it'll take you back to the screen, your regular screen. So that is the microphone, but you can also use your keyboard microphone for this as well by just touching into the box, having your microphone come out and clicking the dictation button, just like I'm doing now. So there we go. Now I'm going to go ahead to the camera. This is probably one of the coolest features of this. The camera lets you hold the device up to some words. A sign is what I think it's really meant for, and it translates them on screen. I'm going to try to see if I can show you this. It's very, very cool. Um, and could be very useful if you're in another country and you need to hold it up to a sign. You don't know what the sign says. So I'm going to go ahead and click the camera. And I've prepared a piece of paper that says, "Help me learn French." And I'm just going to hold my iPad over it. And it's doing French to English at the top. You can see something. Let me switch. So it's saying, "Aide-me apprendre français." So it's kind of helped me speak French. I see it's switching and adding a je at the end, but I think that's just because I'm moving. So it's kind of close to what you want to say, a little bit off. But it also works in the opposite direction. So I'm going to switch back to French to English. And at the bottom of the page, I have "J'aime le français." And it says, "I love the French." I really mean I love French, but this is good enough, I guess. So you can see how cool this is. So you can hold it up to a sign. It's got to be pretty big letters. It doesn't really work with little stuff. But I think this is pretty awesome and could be pretty useful. Um, Scan down here at the bottom is to help Google basically with the camera input. So it sends the images to them. Import lets you use your photos. So if you have a photo that already has some text on it, you can import that photo and then it'll do the translation. I do not have any photos with text on it, so I cannot really show you how that works, but it's pretty self-explanatory. I wonder if it works well. I've never tried it. So I click the arrow on the left to go back, but that's another really cool feature there. And just on the screen, like I mentioned before, if you scroll down, it has all the most recent translations. So you see I got some long ones here. And really, I'm not really translating all that stuff. Basically, I've written out that stuff. And there's like one or two words that I need to find out if they go right in the sentence. And so I just copy and paste the whole thing that I've written out in there. And sometimes I get good stuff, sometimes I don't. I mean, it's not perfect. Nothing is going to be, but it's very good. It's very close and it's better than not having anything, definitely. So this app is a really, really cool and useful app with some very nice additional features that you wouldn't expect from just a regular translator, I think. So definitely download Google Translate and put that into your toolbox for French learning as well.